AI has completely taken the world by storm, but where is it going? Today, we're talking about our AI future. First off, if you're new to Busy Book Club, welcome. My name is Mike, and every day we read a chapter of new and interesting books. Today we're on part 2, chapter 9 of Co-Intelligence by Ethan Mollick. The chapter is called AI as Our Future, and let's get started. Okay, so getting started, Ethan Mollick discusses the evolution and impact of AI, and he discusses 4 possible scenarios. Scenario 1 is called As Good as It Gets, and that's where there's no more groundbreaking progress in AI. There's maybe incremental improvements, but nothing that knocks your socks off anymore. And there's really only 2 ways this scenario could take place. That's if significant technical barriers arise, like training costs get out of hand, or we run out of training data for the models. The second way this could occur is that AI safety experts could convince governments to put a complete ban on AI out of the fear of creating a superintelligence. Now, even though that's unlikely to happen, we would still have to deal with AI's current impact on jobs and education, and the issues of misinformation propagated by AI would still have to be addressed. Scenario 2 is called slow growth. AI continues to improve, but it's at a very slow pace, maybe 10 to 20% each year. In this scenario, AI will enhance tasks but not necessarily replace human jobs outright, and that will provide some opportunity for governments to adjust and make changes to regulations that make sense. One of the areas that Ethan Mollick says will be very promising in this scenario is scientific research. Right now, it's very difficult for a new scientist to get started. There's just too much base knowledge out there for them to learn in order for them to be able to contribute. AI will be able to help researchers comb through existing research and academic literature so that they can find direction for their research. Now we're on to scenario 3, and scenario 3 is where it starts to get really exciting. In this scenario, AI continues advancing exponentially, causing major societal disruption and requiring significant policy changes from governments. In this scenario, AI could become so advanced that we actually prefer talking to AIs over humans. We talked a little bit about this in chapter 4, AI is a person. We already know that AI is very good at mimicking human behavior and seeming very intelligent. But imagine an AI that is optimized for engagement. Companies could create AI avatars for you to interact with that are actually designed to keep your attention. If you saw Meta Connect, they were able to create AI avatars that they had a little bit of latency. It wasn't the smoothest conversation, but it was very believable. Imagine having an AI character that knows you better than anyone else. It knows all your deepest, darkest secrets. It's like something straight out of the movie Her. The other really exciting thing about this exponential scenario is we might even see shorter work weeks. We've already seen this historically. The number of lifetime work hours for workers has been dropping over the past 100 years, but the pace of that drop could accelerate if AI made everyone dramatically more effective. And our final scenario is called
The Machine God.
In this case, AI reaches artificial general intelligence and potentially superintelligence, resulting in machines becoming as smart or smarter than humans. In this scenario, the AIs could take care of us, or they might get rid of us because they think we're pests or something. It's hard to know exactly what the motivations of an AI superintelligence might be. So now that I've laid out each of the scenarios, what do you think is most likely? Personally, I'm putting my money on scenario 3. It's not obvious yet because it's so new, but LLMs are able to fit into most new tasks in some way. And the potential for this exponential growth, I think, is also supported by the fact that it's a major focus for all major tech companies right now. Because AI is the focus of innovation right now, I think we're going to see some exciting new technologies take place. New advancements like Meta Connect that I mentioned earlier. Because it's so new, we're still figuring out the jagged frontier that Ethan Mollick mentioned in a previous chapter. I see it as very likely that we will find new ways to use AI that are more optimized for the way we live and work. I'll talk about scenario 4 just because it's the science fiction one. It's the most speculative. I think it's a 50-50 chance over the next 10 years because there are no inherent barriers preventing such a thing from occurring. But There's nothing that necessarily makes it inevitable. But if we do reach this point, it will be a world-changing event, and whether that change is for the better or for the worse of humankind depends on how we align our super intelligent AI friends to human values. Now, no matter what you think about the probability of these four scenarios, it is important to notice something about this chapter. No matter what possible future we land in, all of them signal a departure from the world as we know it today. Even in scenario 1, significant changes are inevitable. AI's current capabilities have already altered how we interact with information, how we perform work, and how we navigate our daily lives. Even if progress were to slow dramatically, the impact of AI on education and creative work and content generation is here to stay. None of it's going away. The ways we trust media and how we do our jobs and how we socialize have already been affected, and those effects are going to continue to ripple through society. And one of the things that Ethan Mollick said about scenario 4, machine god scenario, I think is really important. Ethan Mollick says that if we weight too heavily on scenario 4 and we try to ban AI development in the future, we're going to rob ourselves of the ability to make intelligent choices in the event of scenarios 2 and 3. We can't let our fear of 4 prevent us from making good, intelligent choices. And speaking of good choices, thank you for joining me today for this discussion about the future of AI. If you want to see more about Co-Intelligence by Ethan Mollick, the first video is right here. Tomorrow we will wrap up the conversation about this book and revisit the 5 questions that we asked in the intro. I can't wait, and I will see you tomorrow.